The start of the second game of today's doubleheader. It's going to be Trisha McCleskey who gets the start in game 2 for the Titans today. Her first appearance of the season has a very tough task today as she has to manage to limit this Oklahoma lineup, which did end up run ruling Cal Baptist in the game, in the first game earlier today, as McCleskey first pitch in to the center fielder Abigail Dayton. As the righty rocks and fires, and first pitch of the day ends up hitting Dayton. So one pitch, one base runner for a dangerous team.
And that happens, right? Gets away a little bit from McCleskey. And you see her, right? You see the confidence, breathe a little bit. That happens. No stress, no harm, no foul. Continue to attack the strike zone. You have a defense, let them help you out.
In comes in the powerful Ella Parker. McCleskey, the 5'8" sophomore from Merced, California, pitched in just 9 games her freshman year a season ago, was 0-2 in the circle with a 4.77 ERA in 9 appearances, only 1 start. So now in her second career start, and how about facing the reigning champs? As Ella Parker had a couple hits in the first game earlier today. Parker, I don't think anybody hits the ball harder in Division I than Ella Parker. She can crush the ball. A preseason All-SEC nominee this year. To talk about the accolades of really all the Sooners in this lineup is eventually we'll get to all of them, as Parker now 2 balls and no strikes.
And of course, I'm curious if she learned a little bit from her uncle, Dave Roberts, played baseball at UCLA, and of course, everyone knows him as the manager, Los Angeles Dodgers.
2-time champion now, Dave Roberts.
As an Angel fan, you didn't need to say that.
I know. I had to, though. I had to. As Ella Parker watches this strike from McCleskey. Her longest outing of the season last year, just 3 innings, and that was versus Cal State Bakersfield. But she really, you take a look at her 9 appearances last year, really only had 2 outings that were not good. 5 earned versus Oregon and 4 earned versus UCLA. Those are really the only 2 that stick out. As Parker will foul off the second, so has her 3 balls and 2 strikes. This top of the lineup, 1 through 4, this is a very lethal 4. Abigail Dayton has a ton of speed. She's at first. Ella Parker and Cassidy Pickering. This is the Batman and Robin of Oklahoma. At least this year, because both Pickering and Parker have been tearing the cover off the ball. Ella Parker this year, Robbie, just hitting a casual 727.
Yeah, sounds about right, right? And, you know, that's just her expectations, and that's what you love, you know? She doesn't settle for average. She wants to be the best, and her numbers just tell the tale, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see some pop out of her bat here tonight.
Parker is 8 for 11 at the plate with 4 doubles and 6 ribbies already this year. Showing you why she's preseason All-SEC as the 3-2 is grounded over to shortstop to second. They get around and they get the lead out, and they're thankful enough to get Dayton because that was a bang-bang play.
Especially Dayton too, right? I mean, she's got some wheels. We've seen it before coming out of her. You'll do a great job. Again, you get the one out. And again, it just goes back to what we said earlier, right, Cameron? Just make your defense work. They trying to clean up the errors, the few mistakes that they made last game against San Diego State. So again, if you're Cal State Fullerton, breathe a little bit, get your time, stick to the fundamentals of game.
Cassidy Pickering lines one into center field, but right there's the Gold Glover Kate Verhoff, and that's the second out of the first. As Trisha McCleskey so far 3 hitters in, just a hit by pitch on the first pitch of the game. But gets a big out to Pickering, who's also been red hot. She came in this game hitting .556. This will bring in the talented junior Nellie McEnroe-Marinas. She homered versus Cal Baptist in their first game today. The curveball is a strike. Ellie McEnroe Marina suffered a season-ending shoulder injury in preseason last year that led her to redshirt all of last season. But so far, it doesn't seem like she's missed a year of college because she is tearing the cover off the ball. Came out of high school as part of the 2023 class, where she came out of Mary Knoll High School as the number 6 player in the class, as ruled by extra inning softball. And now expected to start every game at shortstop this year for the Sooners as McEnroe Marina's fouls went off to the left. So once again, no balls and 2 strikes. Patty Gasso rolling out pretty much the same lineup in every game this year. Bottom 3 looks a bit different. As the 0-2 weak fly ball into right field. It's dying quickly and almost a sliding catch made in right by Christie. And now the throw to second, and the bat ball's not held on by Perez. And thankfully, the Sooners will not capitalize. But they'll have runners at second and third. And almost an insane play made in right by KK Christie.
What a hit by the captain, but a good job defensively over there in right. You see the great effort over there from the right fielder. Keeps the softball in front of her. That's what you like to see. It stays right there. It dies a little bit, but again, it stays right in front of you. Good job over there with McClinton backing up, throwing it to second to Perez. But again, at least you keep the ball in play. If you're Cal State Fullerton, you'll take it. A bit of a jam for McCleskey, but you're 1 out of a way to keep it scoreless here in the top of the first.
This is Ailana Agbayani so far, a 300 hitter this year, 3 for 10 at the plate. If McCleskey could put up a 0 right here, that would be a very good start. The 1-0 misses upstairs, 2 balls and no strikes. Agbayani at the plate. Isabella Emmerling is the catcher. She will hit next before Tia Malloy. The 2-0 is grounded right back to second base. Colby McClinton has to hurry, and it's a good throw to first base as Sofia Guevara right there to complete a scoreless top of the first as Trisha McCleskey works out of some trouble. Titans will look to respond in the first. Sooners scoreless in the first, and they will have Kirsten Deal in the circle today for Patty Gasso. And as a sophomore last year, started to really become a big part of that Sooners rotation, and all Big 12 second teamer from a season ago.
I mean, it's not a surprise. I mean, it says in her last name, Deal. She's known for dealing in the circle, right? I mean, she limited opponents to a 176 batting average last season, 14-1 record with a 1.97 ERA. Those numbers are video game-like numbers. Truly shuts down the door. And again, with her lefty, right, she's already has some tailspin already. And we got a couple of left-handers in Cal State Fullerton's lineup. So I'm very curious how they're going to attack Deal here today.
And where Kirsten Deal dominated last year, in fact, her opposites were a bit split. She dominated righties last year. They just hit a .155 off of her. Started 15 games a season ago for Oklahoma and was 12-0 in the circle. And she faces Crystalline Romulo, who watches one up and away. Count a ball and 2 strikes. It'll be Romulo, Sarah Perez, Colby McClinton, 1, 2, and 3 for the Fullerton half of the first. That pitch misses just a tick outside. Romulo, looking at her performance in game 1 today, was a big part of that 6-run fifth for the Titans. She was on base 3 times in game 1. As Romulo, I think she got jammed, floats one to the second base bag. And making the catch are the Sooners. So 1 up and 1 down for Kirsten Beal. That'll bring in Sarah Perez, Robbie, who was a dynamite in that number 2 hole.
No doubt about it. And you know what was so great about Perez last game is that she just had a lot of opportunities to come in clutch for the Titans, and she capitalized on every single opportunity. Not trying to do too much. She put the ball in play just enough to earn herself a couple of runs batted in against the Aztecs.
Here's Isabella Smith, got the start in game 1, ended up no-hitting Cal Baptist on a run rule victory for the Sooners. It's now Sarah Perez. Mentioned her 3-hit performance in game 1, which ended up producing a couple of RBIs. All of her hits were singles, but back in that number 2 lineup for Gina Oaks Garcia. And Kirsten Beal cannot paint on the outside corner, low and away to Perez. Perez, part of the All Big West preseason coaches team this year. She gets a weak chopper to shortstop. That'll bleed into center field. It's the first hit of the day for the Titans. It belongs to who else, Robbie, but Sarah Perez, her 4th hit in 5 at-bats today.
Shocker, what a surprise. Of course, I'm saying that with a lot of sarcasm to do with that. Again, Perez, she is playing like an absolute veteran. Had a great freshman year campaign a season ago. You know, she was ready to go. She was waiting for the season. Of course, disappointing that they couldn't get the start yesterday due to a postponement at UCLA. But again, Perez making a statement here today.
Coleman Clinton dropped a bunt foul. Sarah Perez, 4 for 5 at the plate to start her year. Average well above 750. Now faces Colby McClinton, trying to get things going in her junior year for the Titans. McClinton, an RBI single, and a part of a 1 for 4 day in game 1. Nothing in 2. Ava Arce, who had a massive hit in the first game too, she's on deck as McClinton is down on 3 pitches. And so far, just a 1 for 5 start this year for Colby McClinton.
And if your deal, after you give up a hit, you know, get some momentum going for Cal State Fullerton, shut down the home crowd, you silence them just a little bit after a 3-pitch K to sit down McClinton. This is what you like to see from the lefty. Ava Arce gets jammed, fouls one back to the screen. You mentioned her record, 14-1 last year, only walked 22 hitters. And her only loss last year was to BYU. She gave up 2 runs. And don't know how they're going to solve the southpaw today. Nothing in 1 to Ava Arce. Chases that rise ball. Has to be one of the most effective pitches in the SEC. Last game started out as a bit of a pitcher duel between the Aztecs and the Titans. Took to the 5th to really blow the game open for Cal State Fullerton. All it took was them just for the Aztecs to go to a different pitcher, and unfortunately Hernandez was struggling throwing strikes, and it ended up just hurting him. And again, that's why you won't really see that too often from Deal. Always getting ahead of the count. You get behind, you know that fastball is going to come your way. Sarah Perez will swipe second base. Just beat out the throw from the catcher, Emmerling. And that is a gutsy stolen base for the shortstop. Perez constantly trying to show off her speed. Got a few stolen bases a season ago for the Titans. Big threat on the base path. Ava Arce will pop out to first. Sydney Sanders, could say, will just touch on the bag. So the Titans themselves will have a threat in the bottom half of the first, but we're scoreless after 1 on ESPN+.
Scoreless after one in Fullerton. It's the opening day of the Easton Classic. Live at Anderson Family Field. Pleasure to be with you here as we'll take a look at the Oklahoma Sooners starting lineup today, as we've already seen the top 5 in the lineup thus far. So this inning will begin with Isabella Emmerling, followed by the DP, Tia Malloy. Big cut and a rip. That will be to shortstop Sarah Perez. Bit of a snow cone, but no problem for the sure-handed junior. Sure-handed sophomore, I should say. One pitch and one out. Trisha McCleskey could use a bunch of that today.
No doubt. We were mentioning it earlier, right? The rain, even though it stopped raining in the morning, there are still some spots in the field where it was a little bit muddy. So again, that plays a little bit of a factor in the infield, and ate up Perez earlier on in game 1 against San Diego State. Good job reading the bat on the one-hop opportunity. Backhands it in time to throw it all the way to Guevara at first for the first out here in the top of the second inning.
So in steps Tia Malloy, the DP today for the Sooners. Started both games today. Malloy, the freshman out of Woodinville, Washington. And she hit the fly ball down the left field line out of play. Safe to say, Robbie, that Tia Malloy has got some good genes. Her parents were just some phenomenal athletes. Her mom, Claudine, was a 2-time All-American track and field athlete in Washington. And if the last name rings a bell, you've probably heard of Laura Malloy, who spent 15 seasons in the NFL, ended up winning a Super Bowl in 2002 with Tom Brady.
And as a Patriot fan,
Oh boy.
I'm going to love that, right? So that's the last you hear from me about that. But, you know, what's so special about Tia Malloy, you mentioned, right, you know, couple of her family members. But at the end of the day, Tia's going to make a name for herself, and rightfully so. And we already seen that already throughout her entire collegiate career.
We flash the defensive lineup there for you for the Titans, as Kristen Romulo is in left, Verhoff in center, and KK Christie out and right. Ava Arce, Sarah Perez is the left side of the infield. Colby McClinton, Sophia Guevara are the right side. Alexia Lopez behind home, and she was fabulous in game 1 behind the dish. Now Sydney Sanders will step to the plate. Former Arizona State Sun Devil as a junior last year for Oklahoma. 15 home runs and 50 RBIs, had 50 hits as well. Only hit 242. That's been her worst season average-wise throughout her couple seasons in college. But nonetheless, one of the biggest power threats across the nation. As it's 2 balls and a strike. Big cut and a miss. Great pitch from McCleskey.
That's what you like to see, right? McCleskey's got some swagger in the circle, right? I mean, just giving a big heck yeah to Lopez behind the dish. This is what you like to see out of your pitcher early on. Confidence is going to be a huge role in this matchup.
The 2-2 just low and away. Robbie, looks like that ball has a little bit of cut on it, too. It goes away from those righties, a bit difficult to pick up.
Yeah, and that's what's so special about McCleskey, right? I mean, just the way that she kind of spins, you know, her pitches a little bit towards the outside. Again, she's just going to be a crucial piece to this pitching staff.
Inside, couldn't get a call for strike 3. It's a 2-out walk to Sydney Sanders. That'll bring in the Sooner shortstop, Gabby Garcia.
Of course, Garcia, another freshman. You see a lot of these lower classmen getting a lot of opportunities early, and I love it, right? Because at the end of the day, this is why, you know, this is all about recruiting. You're not, depends on the situation, but most of the time you're recruiting student athletes to get them that starting role. And so far, of course, Mia's been a perfect example, and likewise for Gabby Garcia here tonight.
0-1 count on Garcia. Will hit a weak fly ball into left field, and out to make the catch is Sarah Perez. Coming out of nowhere, just flashing onto your screen and flashing the leather as Trisha McCleskey, 2 scoreless against the Oklahoma Sooners. Titans due up bottom of the second. Titans half of the second. Titans Sports Network live on ESPN+. It's the 2025 doubleheader season opener. Titans will look to move to 2-0 as Alexia Lopez will step in to face Kirsten Deal. First pitch is called a ball. It'll be Alexia Lopez, Lulu Sanchez, and Sofia Guevara. They had a chance in the first. They had a runner at second with 2 outs. Ava Arce ended up grounding out to first. But nonetheless, Robbie, everything considered, still scoreless.
Yeah, and you know, the mentality is, you know, you got to win, compete every single pitch. You do that, and then you move a little fast forward. It's how can you win the inning? If you win each inning, obviously the game is going to go your way. And Cal State Fullerton, they score at least one, they win the inning, right? So it's continually to try to find those little wins up until the final out of this one.
Pretty much what Gina Oaks Garcia today asked her what her plan of attack was, and she kind of laughed and shook her head and said, well, it's pitch by pitch. You know, McCleskey's pitches have to be pinpoint. They have to attack the corners to the Oklahoma hitters, and so far she's done a good job as that ball's hit into left field and making the catch at shortstop. That's why it's Garcia.
So much range from the shortstop today. Garcia, likewise for Perez, just all the range rather, and they're like, we don't need Parker or Romulo in left. Shortstop, they'll take it themselves.
This is Lulu Sanchez, the DP. First pitch swing, she flies one into left field, but that will be Parker out and left. One pitch and 1 out for Deal. I feel like that's just not a recipe to success. Swinging early in the count will lead to quick outs as we'll take a look at the Oklahoma defense. Again, a bunch of new faces as Ella Parker, Dayton, and Cassidy Pickering from left to right. McEnroe Marinas is at third base, Garcia at short. Sanders at the corner, Emmerling behind home. Early meeting in the circle for Patty Gasso. Robbie, what do you think this is about?
No, at first I want to say I'm unsure, but maybe just something in the defensive side they want to take a look at. I mean, you got 2 gone, nobody on base here in the bottom of the second inning. It is Sofia Guevara. And again, it seems like more this is a chat with the defense than it is with Deal in the circle. And, you know, I don't see any trainers or anything like that, so I'm just going to assume, obviously, there's no injuries or anything like that. Maybe we'll just have, maybe a pitching change, and we will indeed.
Oh, wow.
I'm very curious why. I mean, Deal was doing great. I mean,
has to be some sort of injury. I don't believe they would just take Kirsten Deal out. They've been looking back at the dugout throughout this timeout in the circle.
Yeah, it's going to be Peyton Monticelli, which will be in. And I'm curious because let's say it is an injury. If that's the case, Monticelli can take all the time she needs to get ready in the circle. If that's not the case, then there'll be a limit. So I'm very curious of what really is going to happen now as we head to break.
Not too sure what happened with Deal. We will do our best to figure it out, but no Kirsten Deal anymore. Peyton Monticelli, the former Wisconsin Badger, will take way, and her herself had a great sophomore year in Norman with a 1.09 ERA and 18 appearances, a role she was very familiar with last year coming out of the bullpen 17 times, although did not get a decision, but a big inning pitcher.
Most definitely. I mean, she's that student athlete. You need an out. You need a strikeout. She is that student athlete that will come in clutch. And, you know, obviously in this early on in the season, you want to make sure that Kirsten Deal is okay. That's the obvious, right? But when you have someone like Peyton Monticelli who can come into a situation like this, you already know that what she delivers, what she brings to this program, she's going to be at her best, and she's going to do whatever it takes to continue to be lights out for this program.
You saw our great production crews flash it on the screen. This is the first appearance on the season for Monticelli, who faces Sofia Guevara. 2 outs. It's the bottom of the second. Headlining story today so far, Kirsten Deal out after 1 2/3 innings pitched. And Monticelli, who pitched just 19 1/3 innings last season, will try and at least motor through the rest of this game. Although Patty Gasso did bring in a lot of arms through the transfer portal this year, with Sam Landry being one of them, the transfer out of Louisiana. Goes to one of the seasoned Sooners as Guevara fouls yet again off another. 2 strikes on her.
I like it. Good hack there from Guevara. Just stay a little bit back, batting .333 so far, well early into this season. And for her, she's got a lot of pop in that bat, let me tell you. It just more so stick to the mechanics, staying back on that back leg a little bit. She gets anything in there in her half, she's going to rope that one, and I wouldn't be surprised it hits the scoreboard.
And Guevara, the captain, start something with 2 outs in the bottom of the second. Senior from Fontana, California, only 7 career starts coming into this year with a home run and 6 RBIs, but so far has started back-to-back games for the Titans and expects to be a big bat in that lineup, as she's battling off a couple tough pitches from Monticelli. Peyton Monticelli out of Cedarsburg, Wisconsin. She went to Cedarsburg High School. I mentioned a former Wisconsin Badger, so played for her hometown college, but ended up decommitting just after a season there. And was very good for Wisconsin in her lone year, was 7-4 with a 2.71 ERA. Counts full on Guevara. KK Christie on deck, and it's a cut and a miss. So Sofia Guevara strikes out. That's the first punch out of the day for Peyton Monticelli, coming in a situation that she's familiar with as she shuts down the Titans. Here in the second, we head to the third in Fullerton. The third, which means it's the top of the lineup for the Oklahoma Sooners, Abigail Dayton, to begin things at the top of this lineup in their crimson red jerseys today. They're all crimson reds. Gold, I should say, the Titans in their pinstripe whites. First pitch is down and away to Dayton, who was hit by a pitch in her first at-bat. It was the first pitch of the game from Trisha McCleskey. She faces Dayton, Parker, and Pickering. Top of the lineup that has been blistering the ball throughout this year. The strike in to Abigail Dayton, ball on the strike. Abigail Dayton named to the preseason All-SEC team, the transfer coming out of Utah. As a sophomore last year for the for the Utes, was NFCA All-Region first teamer as well as an NFCA third team All-American. Led the Pac-12 in hitting. She hit .431 last year, 2 homers, 28 RBIs, but an extra base machine in the leadoff hole. She rolls one over to first. Sofia Guevara, a little bit of a bobble, but was close enough to the bag to stomp that right foot on it to retire Dayton.
That's kind of been a little bit of the story for Cal State Fullerton defense. Great job, Sofia Guevara. You got the out. Great job from McCleskey to get the ground out. If you're Cal State Fullerton, and again, it's a little thing, but still at the end of the day, ball first. Keep your eyes on the softball. Once you have it in your glove, then look up, see where the runner is at. Go ahead and make the play.
A nasty drop ball starts out the at-bat from Ella Parker. had 3 errors in the first game today, but thankfully Liliana Garcia was just so dominant in the circle, it didn't affect her that much. Ella Parker, also a preseason All-SEC team, alongside of Cassidy Pickering, who's on deck. Pickering and Parker became the first Oklahoma freshman duo to record double-digit homers and RBIs, as Kate Veerhoff will handle that fly ball, and 2 gone in the third.
You know, I really love what I'm seeing out of McCleskey right now. Again, we talked about it earlier, right, Cameron? We weren't sure really what to expect from McCleskey just because of fact we just haven't really seen her too much make an appearance in a Titan uniform. But she is proving her worth here today, and you are loving what you see out of the right-handed pitcher so far into this one.
Now faces Cassidy Pickering. Just her arsenal. It seems like she's got at least 3 or 4 different pitches, and Oklahoma just has not been able to pick up on one of them so far.
And you know, when I look at for a pitcher, right, swagger, how's their confidence, right? And McCleskey has nothing but that, and that's what you love to see.
That ball's flied into center field, but Kate Veerhoff is there, Robbie. And how about a perfect 3rd inning? And she's kept the Sooners lineup scoreless through 3. (8-9-1) for the Titans. KK Christie and Kate Veerhoff. They face Peyton Monticelli. If you're just tuning in, Kirsten Deal started this game today for the Oklahoma Sooners and ended up leaving just last inning. Is what looks like it is a left arm injury. That's about the most details that we could share thus far. Haven't gotten any other news on her. And it's Peyton Monticelli in her first Sooners appearance of the season. And she will face KK Christie, who had 3 at-bats last game and scored 2 runs. Also had a hit in that one. Just her 2nd collegiate start comes against the Sooners. That pitch called a strike, so now 2 strikes on Christie. Sophomore from Temecula, California. Didn't start playing softball until high school. Played soccer most her whole life. Thought she would have taken the soccer route to the next level, but figured she was pretty good at softball once she decided to pick up a bat. Ended up redshirting in the 2023 season, which has given her an extra year of eligibility, but punches out against Monticelli, who's came in and done nothing but strike out Titans.
Yeah, and it's a tough situation, right, if you're Cal State Fullerton. Again, normally when you have a starting pitcher, at least in softball, what, they'll average like 4, maybe 5 innings, depending on the situation. And of course, with Deal being down, Monticelli has come in and being lights out. So, you know, this is the first time that these Titans are getting used to, you know, of course, Monticelli. So trying to figure out, and, you know, that stuff takes a lot of time. And you kind of see that a little bit from Cal State Fullerton trying to see the pitches. Is we're going to get a new pitcher coming up once more for the Sooners.
As Audrey Lowry will come in exchange for Peyton Monticelli. So maybe it's just Patty Gasso trying to use up some of her pitchers and get them some experience here in the SEC, as we'll be back on ESPN+. So 3rd pitcher on for the Sooners today, as it will be Audrey Lowry, the talented freshman out of Pittsboro, Indiana. 5'7" lefty faces Kate Veerhoff. I think that's been the plan of attack so far for college pitching versus Veerhoff this year, is just throw a lefty at her. As the 0-1 cut on and missed, 0-2. Audrey Lowry, mentioned her just being a freshman, was ranked the #2 pitcher in the class of 2024 by extra innings, was also the 2024 Miss Indiana. In softball, the reigning Gatorade Player of the Year, 2-time NFCA All-American in high school. As we have just one out in the bottom of the third here.
And I like it, giving people opportunities. I mean, there's no doubt Oklahoma's obviously the obvious, right? They're one of the best teams in the nation, and they've proved that each and every single year. And it seems like they're continually getting better, right? It's like, how can you be better than being, 4-time defending champs? But again, it goes back to this pitching staff. Lights out each and every single year. And, I know we kind of said it a little bit off air, Cameron, is, Gasso's kind of, with Deal, Monticelli, now Lowry, a lot of opportunities for these pitchers. And, maybe it's just due to the fact with Smith going all out, being the only pitcher against CBU, they just wanted to throw in some reps. So I'm curious on the decision. I'm just going to go on a limb and say possibly it's because of that. Because, again, the non-conference schedule, your main focus is create, a tough schedule to get that RPI up and give you a chance to really compete when it comes to conference play. So I'm curious if that possibly plays a role into why they're kind of limiting and getting some of their pitchers some reps in their circle here in this one.
They play LMU tomorrow and then Long Beach State on Sunday. That will be at 12 p.m. noon. They do not play next until February 15th. They're a team that went 59-7 last year as Verhoef skies one middle of the infield. It will be the third baseman, McEnroe Marinas, to haul it in. At 59-7 a season ago, they went 22-5 in the Big 12. So what makes this team great is how good they were on the road. 13-2 road record. As Crystalline Romulo flew out to second, comes up with 2 outs in the third. This is a team, too, that did end up losing 2 of their best starters from last year's team, Kelly Maxwell and Nicole May, who combined for 37 wins. They were 2 of their 3 main starters that they used as Romulo, a weak grounder back to the pitcher and out at first by half a step. If that, as Romulo with her hands on her head cannot believe that Audrey Lowry made that good of a play to throw her out at first, but she did, and that will be 3 outs in the third as we're scoreless after 3. The Big West champs hanging tough with Oklahoma so far as we're scoreless through 3. But some powerful bats coming up for the Sooners as McEnroe Marinas will lead off the Sooners half of the 4th. And Fullerton first pitch gets a ground ball to Colby McClinton at second base. And 1 pitch, again, 1 out for Trisha McCleskey in the 4th.
Can't do much better than that, right? 1 pitch, 1 out to get going here. The top half of the 4th inning, 4, 5, and 6 due up for McCleskey. Again, continue to be dominant, right? I mean, she has yet to have her first strikeout, but we know she's not that power type of a pitcher. But again, it's continually to let your defense work, and we've seen it through the majority of this one. Only 1 walk, only 1 hit as well. And that 1 base hit came all the way back to inning number 1, and she just so happened to get McEnroe already out. So again, this is what you like to see from McCleskey, and as she continues rather to dominate against this tough Sooner squad.
Agbayani watches outside. We talked about it during the break. She has kept Ella Parker and Cassidy Pickering so far 0 for 4. Pretty good start. So far, 3 1/3, just the 1 hit. Only 3 Sooners have reached base so far off of McCleskey.
And you're right. I mean, you take away the first inning, right, with Dayton getting on via hit by pitch. ever since then, McCleskey has gotten the first batter out in the second, third, and now the fourth inning. And that's what you like to see, right? Off to a good start. Maybe a little slow to start off, a little bit, you know, a little sigh of relief there from McCleskey. But again, it's all about just finding your rhythm, and she certainly found it here in this one.
Ilana Agbayani. Oh, watch that cutter that just misses off the plate. Good piece of execution for McCleskey, but she ends up walking Agbayani. That's the second walk for McCleskey, who is already in her longest start as a Titan. And that's 3 1/3. Her longest last year as a freshman was just 3 innings versus Cal State Bakersfield. We'll face Isabella Emmerling, the catcher. Runner on first as that ball hits the inner knee of Emmerling. And this is where McCleskey can get herself into some trouble, Robbie.
Short-term memory, right? That's all it is. I mean, again, you eliminate that one hit. Every single time people are getting on, it's either the obvious, right? Fielder's choice. 2 hit by pitches already, one from Dane, now one from Emmerling. And a few crucial walks has hurt McCleskey. And you know, Georgia Rajo just going to slow down the game a little bit. Again, let's see where the defense wants to line up. Is it a possibility that Tia Malloy could possibly bunt? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
She could most certainly. I mean, in high school, that's what she was kind of known for a little bit. So again, it's just how are we going to play the bunt situation here in the top of the 4th inning? And as you look down, it seems like Gasso's got a few more tricks up her sleeve as well. So maybe we'll get a pinch runner, possibly a pinch hitter, probably more than likely a pinch runner in this situation right now for the Sooners.
Tia Malloy, the scheduled hitter, coming up. First and second for the Sooners with 1 out. So far, the most trouble McCleskey has been in today. The thing about this Oklahoma team is they not only physically wear you out, but I think they more mentally wear you out with their at-bats because they are ruthless in the batter's box. They battle off a lot of tough pitches, and they make sure you're sweating out there in the circle. Tia Malloy, who had 21 career homers in high school, 159 career hits. First pitch is a grounder to first. Guevara, a little bit of a bobble again. And that'll load him up.
Again, kind of what we were talking about earlier. Ball first, ball first, ball first. If you take your eye off for a split second, I'm telling you, that softball is just going to disappear on you, right? But positives, right? You'll take the little wins. What's the little win here? Bases are loaded, no harm, no foul. You got force out here at any base.
And it's the dangerous Sydney Sanders who watches a first pitch strike. 4th error now in the doubleheader so far for the Titans. Sanders, 15 homers, 50 RBIs a season ago. The 0-1 grounded right back into center field, and that'll be a base hit. As 1 run will come across to score for the Sooners. And they strike first, 1-0 on an RBI single from Sydney Sanders, who's been off to a cold start this year.
Again, it's what do you expect, especially from the 4-time defending champs? They capitalize on every single mistake you make, right? A hit by pitch, a few walks, an error. Great job, of course, by Sydney Sanders to poke it all the way towards center field for another RBI in this one.
This will be Gabby Garcia, the shortstop. Base is still juiced for the Crimson Red. A walk, a hit by pitch, in an error. That produces a run on the RBI single from Sanders. Sydney Sanders was 0 for 4 coming into that bat on the season. Picks up her first RBI in the year. Garcia flew out her first at bat. McCluskey could use a ground ball. That'll be foul into the Sooners dugout. Garcia, another one of these talented freshmen that Patty Gasso brought in out of Chandler, Arizona. Her mom, Kara, a Hall of Fame softball player at Arizona State. So Gabby Garcia made her name well known across the state. Hit .496 in her career in high school. This ball is absolutely crushed into right field, and that is gone. It's a grand slam for Gabby Garcia, her first collegiate home run, will produce 4 runs for the Sooners.
One mistake, right? It's gonna cost you. Let's take another look. Again, it all came down to Garcia staying back on this pitch and absolutely tattooed this softball deep to right center field. Absolute missile over there from Garcia. And again, you know what? This is an Oklahoma team. It doesn't matter if you're batting first. It doesn't matter if you're batting in the 9th spot. Garcia proved it. Again, staying back. Great job. And, you know, I really like the effort from McCluskey, and even Gina Oaks. Garcia said, hey, you did an amazing job. It was just those few walks. It was that error that really just kind of hurt you towards the end. And we said it earlier, now we get to see the freshman taking home against Oklahoma when we come back.
Well, Robbie, it's only a matter of time until the Sooners offense broke through. They have scored now 5 here in the 4th, and it gives way to the first collegiate appearance so far for the talented freshman, Eva Hurtado.
Yes, and this is a great place to be, right? I mean, it's one of those things, who would ever think, right? A freshman will come in and face this tough Oklahoma squad, and no doubt Hurtado is certainly that person to do so. Holds the high school record for career innings back at J. Sarah Catholic. Strikeouts, wins, game pitch. Her resume is already there for you. You already know. So again, we, as the Cal State Fullerton Titan, you should be pleased to have this freshman in the circle in this situation.
First ever appearance coming against the number 3 ranked team in the country, the 8-time national champion Oklahoma Sooners. And we'll see what she has in store for us today. Drop curve in her rise ball. She's a 3-pitch pitcher, really. There's a good look at the changeup. And that ball was dancing as it got to Abigail Dayton. Was ranked the number 19th player and the number 14th pitcher for extra innings in her past 2 seasons at J. Sarah, the local kid staying home. Abigail Dayton, we're back to the top of the Sooner lineup as that ball misses just a bit away. Ella Parker, Cassidy Pickering due on deck. This is the 7th Sooner to come to the plate. And that ball gets a piece of Dayton. That will be the hit by pitch, the 3rd hit by pitch by Fullerton pitching today.
Second off of Dayton, too, to add to that. And right now, if you're Cal State Fullerton, kind of, especially the pitching staff, right, settle down a little bit. Now it kind of a wake-up call. Errors are going to hurt you, especially from this tough team. But again, make something happen. Let your defense figure it out. And everything will come into fruition rather from there.
Ella Parker 0 for 2 today. A very rare 0 for Parker. She will face Hurtado, who Kelly Ford called one of the most fierce competitors she's seen in high school. also talked about her love to compete. Her attitude is contagious. This is off the end of the bat of Parker, and she's now 0 for 3. Bring in the number 9th hitter of the inning, Cassidy Pickering. In a 5-0 Sooners lead, they've scored all 5 here in the 4th, capped off by a Gabby Garcia grand slam. So Hurtado will face one of the best in the nation.
You know, it was off to a good start for Cal State Fullerton. You get the leadoff batter out to start off the top of the 4th, and next thing you know, it just went downhill from there. A walk, a hit by pitch, then an error from the first baseman, and that's when the power came for the Sooners. So again, started off strong for the Titans.
As that throw actually beat Dayton to the bag, but Perez couldn't hold on. And Alexia Lopez dropped another seed down to second. It'll be a stolen base for Abigail Dayton. Runner in scoring position once again for Oklahoma. Hurtado's pitch catches his own. Hurtado also a pitcher that just thrived in big situations in high school. Tossed back-to-back no-hitters in the CIF Southern Section Division II playoffs in her junior year. And continued that success as a senior. Holds about, as Robbie mentioned, pretty much every single record you could possibly hold as a pitcher. And ends up walking Pickering.
You know, if you're Cal State Fullerton, I know it's been a lengthy top of the 4th inning, but the way you got to think about it too, especially when you get ready for the offensive side, you have Sarah Perez, who's been the most dominant hitter so far, well early on for this Titan lineup. Colby McClinton, you have 2, 3, and 4 due up. You like the odds right now of your Cal State Fullerton, at least from the offensive side.
Have to figure a way to get out of this 4th. As it will be Nellie McEnroe Marinas, freshman out of Waianae, Hawaii. Actually started this 4th inning, grounded out to second base to Colby McClinton on the first pitch of this inning.
That shows, right? You get the first out, but again, it just everything can change in just a split second. We've certainly seen that here in the top of the 4th inning.
Wheels just fell off the wagon. Ended up walking Agbayani, which was a tough at-bat. Emmerling, she hit Emmerling, Trisha McCleskey did, who started this game. Hit her on the first pitch. Error at first, a single, a grand salami, a hit by pitch, and then a walk. So
seems Ryan Gasso calling time, wants to have a quick word to make it roll Marinas, and why not? I mean, right, you're ahead of the count. You have a runner on first and second. You're the captain. If you like that pitch, I would say give you the green light.
Hurtado way down on the count, 3 balls and no strikes, and ends up walking McEnroe Marinas on 4 pitches. That'll load him up once again for the Sooners. Gina Oaks Garcia talked about having a bit of a 4-headed monster this year in the circle. Robbie, do you expect Eva Hurtado to maybe be a part of this rotation coming into this year?
100%. Now the question is, could we see her as a starter, possibly in relief? And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we see her getting a few starts this year as Gina Oaks comes to the circle. And for Hurtado, again, she's young. She's got a lot to learn. There's no doubt about it. But I like this situation for Hurtado because you get to see what the freshman is made of. I'm for it. Obviously, this is a situation you don't want to be in. That's the obvious, right? But at the end of the day, you kind of get to see what she is made of. As you know, Oaks Garcia is going to let her, and rightfully so. Let's see what the freshman is made up of, and why not against one of the best teams in the country. So for this, I'm all for it.
This will be Alea Agbayani, who will come to the plate, bases loaded for Hurtado. Oaks Garcia said, if you want to be the best, you have to beat the best. And so far, down 5-0 against Oklahoma.
And the last time both of these two teams faced off against each other, 2023 at the Mary Nutter. Well, it was a run rule, 8-0 after 5. Oklahoma looking to do that again, but all-time series, Cal State Fullerton's actually on top, 11 wins and 9 losses.
The last win was 2016 for Cal State Fullerton. Agbayani watches low and away. Pretty impressive feat coming in. Wouldn't have really thought Cal State Fullerton would be at least leading the series versus Oklahoma, with as dominant as they've been for the past 3-4 decades now. Sooners showing why they should be ranked #1 in the country. And there's the first collegiate strikeout for Eva Hurtado as she strikes out Elena Agbayani. And that will end the threat of the fourth, but 5 come across for the Sooners, and the Titans bats have some work to do. This will be coming up for the Titans, and they are Sarah Perez, who is off to a 4-for-5 start in the 2025 season. She will lead it off against the lefty Audrey Lowry. Lowry did not start this game. Kirsten Deal did. She came out after 1 2/3 innings pitched. Gave way to Peyton Monticelli, who pitched 2/3 of an inning. And now it's Audrey Lowry as she faces 2, 3, 4. First pitch is a called strike on Perez. Singled in the first, was stranded at second. Ava Arce had a chance to bring her in the first, but couldn't do so. Perez down on 3 pitches. First out of the fourth, we're bringing Colby McClinton.
This is what you like to see out of Lowry, right? I mean, again, she has been a dominant pitcher rather in her career in high school, and she is proving it here today. You mentioned, right, #2 out of her class, at least from the pitching side of things. And again, it's for her, continue her dominance, continue throwing strikes, and I believe we're going to have a new sub possibly coming in, a new student athlete here for the Sooners.
Umpire Christina Drum has been busy today, to say the least. Looks like we will not have a pitching change here for the Sooners. Colby McClinton will step in, try and drop a bunt up the first base line. Pushed it just a bit too strong. It rolls foul.
It's a defensive change. They're actually going to switch it up. So Parker, who's in left, is now moving to right field. Pickering, who's in right field, will now be in left. So that's a little defensive change for you.
McClinton punched out in the first, grounds out one. Ball bounced off her foot, at least it looked like from the center field camera view, but hey, we'll take it. It's a 1-out single.
And I'm sure Colby McLean will take it too. You know, and again, she was batting 200, off to a little bit of a slow start still early on in the season, right? Only being game 2. But again, the little wins like this, you get a runner on, you're down by 5, you're not looking for home runs at the moment, you're looking for base runners. Once you do that, then you can plan a little ahead.
Ava Arce will sky one behind home. Arce grounded out to first in the first. Lefty-lefty matchup now. 0-1 on Arce, make it 0-2. Audrey Lowry, we mentioned Ava Hurtado owning some high school records. Audrey Lowry does the same. She went to Tri-West High School in Indiana, holds the record for strikeouts, ERA, and wins as that ball is fly down the left field line, but once again out of play. How about a career 0.69 ERA in high school?
Pretty sure anyone wishes to have an ERA like that, right? Myself included.
She struck out 302 batters in her senior year and was named Gatorade Player of the Year nominee all 4 years of high school. Just talks or speaks to the links that Patty Gasso goes to recruit pitchers. And her and Jennifer Rocha probably doesn't get enough credit as Patty Gasso does, but Jennifer Rocha herself also one of the best, if not the best, pitching coach in the entire country. Arce battling with 2 strikes, will rip one down the first base line. It's caught at first by Sanders, touches the bag, and that'll double off McClinton. As it's a 3 unassisted double play, that'll get the Sooners out of the 4th. There's a hard hit ball from Ava Arce, so she'll take the at-bat, but not the results, as it's 5-0 Oklahoma after 4. The 5th inning in the nightcap of the Easton Classic. The top of the 5th, Oklahoma will have Isabella Emmerling, the catcher, to begin the 5th. Eva Hurtado back in the circle. It would be her 2nd inning of work. Came in the 4th, ended up getting a walk and a punch out. This is a mile-high pop into left field. Does that have the distance? In and coming, you saw that ball just start tail spinning back towards home. And making the catch is Romulo in left.
Yeah, certainly had the height, just didn't have the distance. Good job from Romulo, though. She was already all the way back at the warning track, and next thing you know, she's got to make a few runs. She's got to quickly sprint as fast as she can. They just come up and make the grab. And again, the weather, a little bit of a wind factor, especially towards the left-hand side of Anderson Family Field. So a good defensive effort, but this is what you want to see from the freshman, right? A big strikeout with the bases loaded an inning ago. You come back, you get the first out. Now you can kind of relax a little bit. It's a new start. No one on base. This is your inning. Let's see what the freshman is going to do to truly take control here in the top of the 5th.
She faces Tia Malloy with 1 out, who will watch a strike. Malloy 0 for 1 today, reached on an error in the 4th, part of that 5-run 4th for the Sooners. Ended up coming across to score on the Gabby Garcia grand slam, her first as a Sooner, first in college. Picked up RBIs number 2, 3, 4, and 5 on that slam. The bottom half of the lineup for the Sooners that's been struggling throughout the first 3 games for them this year, but they have sure turned it around here today in game 2. Tia Malloy will walk with one out. Second time she's been on base today.
You're recapping right now, at least looking at the two Cal State Fullerton games. Errors has been an issue, and at least today, walks as well. 5 walks in this matchup against Oklahoma, and everyone knows who they are. They know they're going to capitalize on these mistakes, and it has shown time and time again.
Right on cue as that ball couldn't be corralled behind home by Lopez, so Tia Malloy up to second. Titans will play 2 more tomorrow as part of the Easton Classic versus IU, Indy, and Southern University, as that's a hard hit fly ball into right field. Trailing back to the track, making the catch is KK Christie, and she will get it in a hurry, as that does not allow Tia Malloy to advance to third base. The ball was hit to the warning track. You see Tia Malloy tap her chest saying, I definitely should have been able to tag on that ball.
Yeah, and you know that happens. She knows her mistake. She's going to fix it for next time. So, you know, she's aware of her mistakes. She knows what to improve on. Again, it's so early on in the season. You work out those bugs, getting right back in the softball season. Certainly a mistake that I know she'll never make for the rest of the season.
Just a freshman, mentioned Oklahoma team that lost a boatload of their starters last year. They lost 3 of their 4 starting infielders. The only one that returned was Sydney Sanders, but ended up losing Riley Boone, Kinsey Hansen, Jada Coleman, Alyssa Brito, and of course the great Tiare Jennings. And that's just the start for them. Pulled the bump back. Pitch is called a strike on Gabby Garcia. She blew things up in the 4th. With that grand slam that she just speared out to right center field. Nothing in 2. Catches the zone, so now there'll be 2 strikes on Garcia. Off a tough 2-strike pitch. Take a look at the top 5 teams coming in to the Division I this year based on RPI. Texas is the number 1 ranked team. Although Oklahoma beat them in the championship last year, Texas is the number 1 team. Oklahoma and Florida been tossed up in the 2-3 spots this season. Oklahoma State and then UCLA rounds out the top 5. Did you have a chance to watch any of that championship last year between Texas and Oklahoma?
I did. I did, and you know, it was a toss-up between both of those 2 teams at that time. But Oklahoma, they just proved a statement to Texas, and you know, the Longhorns, I'm sure they're excited with now Oklahoma being a part of the SEC. I mean, Oklahoma, they beat them in 2002 and in 2024 for the championship. So, you know, Texas, now that they're in the same division, they're going to have a lot more matches between both of these 2 squads.
5-0 Sooners. After 5, we'll be back for the 6th on ESPN+. It is a jam-packed crowd, a sold-out crowd at Anderson Family Field on a Friday afternoon. Friday night now in Fullerton. Lights are on, dark skies above us. A great night for some softball, which should be a fun weekend here at the Easton Classic. As long as the rain stays away, Oklahoma will play once tomorrow, and the Titans will play twice. Titans already picked up a win earlier today versus San Diego State, which was a 7-3 victory. First ever collegiate win for Gina Oaks-Garcia, the new head coach of the Titans, and her just the 4th ever head coach. As this is Alexia Lopez to begin the Titans half of the 5th. Lopez, Lulu Sanchez, and Sofia Guevara. 0-2 just misses the zone. Audrey Lowry so far in relief. She's been good, just as giving up a hit. That came on an infield single by McClinton last inning. As Lopez pulls another foul. Lopez was great behind the plate in the first game, ended up throwing out 2 runners at second base. As she grounds one back up the middle, a diving snag, but no chance to throw her out. Gabby Garcia did a good job just to keep the ball in the dirt. But how about Alexia Lopez, now 1 for 2 on the day, and the leadoff runner's on for the Titans in the 5th.
You'll take it right from the catcher to get your leadoff man aboard. Good piece of hitting, good defensive effort there from Garcia. Again, it's a play you just don't want to force, right? I mean, she did everything right over there, deep in range over there at short. Filled it cleanly. I was thinking about coming up, but again, just great job just to hold the softball. Makes a way to possibly get a possible double play opportunity, rather, as we have a pinch runner coming up for Alexia Lopez.
Brianna Ferdman, the true freshman. Ferdman out of Simi Valley High School gets her first collegiate appearance here on a pinch running for the catcher as Lulu Sanchez popped out to left field. In her first at-bat, the reigning co-freshman player of the year in the Big West. I feel like we haven't really talked much about Lulu Sanchez. Robbie, the only transfer that Gina Oaks-Garcia brought in this year, but a pretty dang good one.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you saw what she did last year for CSUN, co-freshman field player of the year, along with Ainsley Waddell at UC Santa Barbara as well. She was a crucial pickup because, again, this has kind of been the story today, right, Cameron? We've been saying you can't teach experience, and to have a student athlete like Lulu coming in from CSUN and already her and her familiarity, right, with Big West competition, especially, of course, playing against Long Beach State. We've seen her again. She has a good track record as well against Cal State Fullerton. So that the fact that now the Titans have her in a Titan uniform, they could feel better when it comes to them playing against CSUN later on this season.
And it's really not anything that she doesn't do well. She's a great defender. She doesn't strike out in the plate. Only 13 strikeouts a season ago for her. Hit .333 with 3 homers and 21 RBIs. But maybe someone that you could possibly expect to see maybe in the leadoff spot this year at some point.
I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm sure we'll see her also kind of get out of the designated player slot and possibly be on the field a couple of times as well. That wouldn't surprise me as well, specifically her in the outfield. And again, you know, 2 games in the books. There's going to be some slight changes, and I guarantee you Gina Oaks-Garcia is going to kind of change the rotations a little bit to see what she's going to be most comfortable with when it comes to getting ready for Big West Conference play.
She's a hit machine. .333 a season ago in the 5 spot for Gina Oaks-Garcia. And Lulu has a full count. The 3-2 jammed her inside, popped it up. Will there be room? No, they will need be not. It will be out of play. We'll see another one. Yet again, Sanchez just muscles the ball foul up the right field line. So far, she's seen Audrey Lowry for a big handful of pitches. Brianna Ferdman, there's the pinch runner at second. One on, nobody out for the Titans in the fifth. Sanchez will do it again, 3-2.
I believe the umpires just out of softballs.
Yeah.
This happens. And, you're not against it. You're not going to be upset, right, with the battle of Sanchez and how it was working likewise for Lopez as well. The softballs getting a little beat up today, playing with the rain, making sure they're all good for, the student athletes on either side. So, not a bad thing at all.
Another 3-2, and Lowry will win the battle against Sanchez and strike her out.
Good pitch, a rise ball in the outer half. Opportunity to let Sanchez chase. It was a good at-bat. She did everything right. Just got outbeat by one pitch to sit her down.
Sofia Guevara struck out in the second. And the Titans claw home a run as Guevara crushes one left center field. That'll be off the top of the wall and stay in the yard, as Ferdman will have to stop at third. How did that ball not leave, Robbie?
Unbelievable. Talk about an unlucky bounce.
What?
Right off the top. Let's take another look on ESPN Plus. Oh.
It hits the dead top of the wall. I mean, you've been doing games here for a long time. Have you ever seen a ball hit the top of the wall and stay in the yard?
Nothing like that. Just, if you're Guevara, I guarantee, knowing her, she's going to go back. She's going to watch this replay, and she's just going to shake her head. And her teammates are like, okay, this means you got to hit the weight room, right? You're right there. You're so close. Good goes for not. Barely off of the top of the wall. I know you're a little bit frustrated. You're right there. And again, I think her teammates are just going to say, hit the weight room. You'll be ready next at bat.
So Ferdman will have to be at third. She went back to tag. Either way, that ball left a dent in the left center field wall. Guevara, her second hit in the doubleheader today. First one for extra bases. And the Titans have a threat here in the fifth. Second and third with just one out and a 5-0 Sooner lead. As there will be a pinch runner at second, I believe. Yes, there is indeed. That will be Abigail Salazar, senior out of Santa Maria, California. Robbie, KK Christie coming to the plate. She's put up some really good at-bats today, although she struck out in the third.
Yeah, for KK, she is, someone that's going to battle up in the plate. We've seen it all day long out of KK. Again, she is a true X factor that's just trying to get some reps. But you know what, partner? I believe that's actually going to be Natalie Lozano that's actually going to be pinch hitting now, taking over for KK Christie.
Interesting move there. Good eyes from you. As Lozano picking up her first collegiate at-bat versus the Oklahoma Sooners. Natalie Lozano was one of the most feared power hitters in high school last year in the Mesa League. Hit 6 homers her senior year. Saw a pinch hit appearance in the last game. Still looking for her first Titan hit. Chases the rise ball upstairs, and Ashley Lowry has her swinging.
No, if you're Gina Oaks Garcia, I like this move. You know what you're expecting from KK Christie, rather a veteran, but now you get the freshman to do damage.
That ball's lined out to left field, and that is gone! Natalie Lozano, her first collegiate hit is a 3-run shot. And it's now 5-3 Oklahoma. Just took a 2-1 heater from Lowry and absolutely hit a heat-seeking missile over the left center field wall. And she's going to want that ball back, Robbie.
Who wouldn't want that softball back? Again, great call. Why not? What do you have to lose? Great job from the 5'11" freshman from Chula Vista, California. Wrote that softball. Let's take another look. Absolutely took the laces off of that softball deep to left center field. And hey, just like that, Cal State Fullerton's right back in this ballgame, partner.
We got a ball game, Robbie. Kate Verhoff is scheduled at the plate. See a fan out there with the ball. He might tuck that in his back pocket and give it to Lozano. How about your first ever collegiate hit coming against the reigning 4-time national champs? Wow. Don't think I expected that today. As Kate Verhoff will cut and miss at the first.
And that's why I love this sport, right? Anything can happen. You just never know. This is a Titan team. You can't count them out yet. They've been reaching. They've been looking for that sliver of momentum, right? It was Sofia Guevara who almost went yard. And Lozano rather said, you know what? This is how you do it. This is what I mean by hit the weight room. She proved it to Guevara. Next thing you know, Cal State Fullerton only down by 2.
Kate Verhoff into center field, and now the number 9 hitter's on for the Titans, and the time run comes to the plate with Crystalline Romulo as Kate Verhoff, I should say, breaks out of a little bit of a slump, and now wonder if Patty Gasso will go to the circle.
Time to shine if you're Romulo. Not really much of a power type of hitter, but she is selective at the plate. Smart softball IQ, gonna really look at the defensive end to see where possibly she could poke it down in the infield.
Have to find a way to get Sarah Perez, who is scorching hot at the plate. She's on deck. A 1-ball, no strike count to Romulo. Time run at the plate and cuts and misses at the changeup. Natalie Lozano said, told you she was one of the most feared power hitters in high school last year. Georgia Rajo said she has raw and natural power, and we saw that in that at-bat. And the Titans tie this game at 5 with Romulo at the plate, a runner at first, a 1-2 count. Chases away, punches her out. Nothing doing from Romulo, falls to 0-3. 0 for 3, I should say. In steps Sarah Perez, but not before Patty Gasso walks out to the circle. She knows how well Sarah Perez has been swinging the bat.
No doubt about it. And again, as the new pitcher comes out, you know, great job from Lowry to shut down the door. There's just few key mistakes that kind of shook her up a little bit. But we'll see what Cal State Fullerton has to offer here in the bottom of the 5th.
It's the senior Sam Landry who enters the circle for the Sooners, their 4th pitcher of the day. Comes into a Bottom of the fifth situation with Sarah Perez at the plate. The time runs at the plate. The transfer out of Louisiana, who was spectacular a season ago for the Raging Cajuns. And the number of transfers Patty Gasso added, and the best arm she added was Sam Landry. A 24-10 record for Landry a season ago, a 2.09 ERA. That ball's down away, a ball and a strike on Perez. 194 innings she pitched for Louisiana, 165 punch-outs, was an all Sun Belt first teamer last year. In the dirt, 2 balls and a strike on Perez.
You know, partner, kind of going backwards a little bit after that Lozano 3-run bomb. Now it puts a question mark in the coaching staff's head. Hey, should we give her a starting opportunity? And you know what? I would be shocked if she doesn't get that opportunity soon.
I was thinking the same thing. But KK Christie's been swinging a good bat too, but it's a good problem to have with a couple hot players. 2 strikes on Sarah Perez, trying to extend this fifth. And we'll at least see another pitch. Lozano's listed as a utility player on the roster, so she can play about anywhere. She played first and catcher in high school. Got the Titans back into this game as Perez will strike out against Sam Landry. Just going to the rise ball so hard, so strong. But the Titans, they score 3 here in the fifth. And Natalie Lozano, her first career home run as a Titan, brings them back into this game.
This season, I mean, we've kind of seen her in patches throughout her collegiate career, right? And again, we said it earlier, partner, the question mark would be what happens with this pitching staff once we get past Garcia. Likewise for McCleskey, we had a hunch that we would see Hurtado, so to see Dendas as well is great to see what she's capable, especially having, you know, a little more experience, learning a lot throughout her collegiate career rather so far in the circle.
Yeah, got the chance to sit behind Haley Rainey and Stacy Chambers, so I bet she learned a lot from those two. Rainey, who transferred to Auburn, Chambers, who transferred to Oregon. Now Dendas trying to put up a 0 as she faces Abigail Dayton. 1, 2, and 3 for the Sooners. Dendas just 7 2/3 innings pitched a season ago. Ended up picking up a victory. And had a 5.48 ERA. The season full of splits for Dendas, who was really solid through her first 3 outings of the year, was 6 2/3, only gave up 1 earned run, but her last 3 outings pitched just a total of an inning and gave up 5 earned runs and 6 total runs, and didn't strike anybody out either. So the flashes are there for Dendas, no doubt about it. As Dayton watches the second strike. Pitched just 2 times in 2023 and just 6 times a season ago. Is that pitch going to say it hit Dayton? Although Dayton didn't think it hit her, she thought it hit the knob of her bat, but home plate umpire ruling that it did hit Dayton. That's her 3rd hit by pitch of the day.
I'm sure after this one there's going to be some bruises, but she'll take it. I mean, you get on 3 out of your 4 plate appearances today, especially as your leadoff hitter, you're going to take that any day.
And OBP continues to skyrocket. As Ella Parker 0 for 3 today. Faces Dendis. Left one over the middle of the plate, called for a strike. 0-1 on Parker. All Big 12 second team a season ago as a freshman. Was a freshman top 3 finalist in the NFCA. 13 homers, 62 RBIs. But just smashed 73 hits throughout her freshman campaign. And she grounds one off the third baseman Arcee's glove. And that's how she can get 73 hits. Her ability to put the ball in play, first and second for the Sooners.
You like the attempt there from Arcee at third. For a split moment, I thought that ball was gonna go on foul ground. Stays fair. Great job there for Arcee to keep it in play as Dendas, a little bit of a jam, but still got some room to work with.
Brings in the dangerous Cassidy Pickering. Robbie, if my numbers don't fool me, that's just the fourth hit for the Sooners today. That is unlike them.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, besides you take away the grand slam from Gabby Garcia back in the 4th inning, I mean, offensively, Oklahoma, again, the hits, a couple hits here and there, but it's just really been the walks that kind of hurt Cal State Fullerton today. So you look back, besides you scratch off the walks, you'll be pretty pleased from the coaching staff so far today for the Titans.
You just take away that 4th inning, it's been nothing but zeros for Titans pitching thus far. And they scored all 5 in that 4th. Gabby Garcia capped it off with a grand slam. And now Cassidy Pickering, first and second, nobody out. Gets under one, flies it into right field, not too deep, as that's actually a lot. Shallow right field, we'll call it. Right behind the first base bag.
I agree.
Cassidy Pickering, first out of the 6th. Big out. Bring the cleanup hitter, Ellie McEnroe Marinas. And it's another hits batsman. Could not get out of their own way in the circle today. That is now 5 hit Sooners in this game today. 5.
5, and that's excluding the walks, right? So it goes back to kind of what we were saying earlier, right? It's not so much the hitting, at least, that Oklahoma is giving up, right, with all these major hits, except for Gabby Garcia right back in the 4th. But again, it's just you're giving these free chances to the Sooners, and that's really been hurting them here today.
And it's bases juiced for the freshman Sydney Barker, who will be pinch hitting in this number 5 spot in the lineup, as Barker will ground one to shortstop. Perez will come home with it, and that's off the mitt of the catcher, as Oklahoma tries to score a second, but Parker is out at home, as that initial throw went off the mid of Alexia Lopez, so one is across. The lead is now a 6-3 Sooners lead, but they at least get a second out, Robbie.
I'm not too sure about that. Yep, this is why. So let's take another look. So it goes past Alexia Lopez. Let's see if we can keep this replay here. Find the ball. Look at the softball. The softball actually had to be picked up from Alexia Lopez. Right there. See how she had to pick up that softball? So that's the question that they're looking for right now. So it could go down as a base hit. I'm curious what they're going to see for Agbayani, but that is the question in frame. So originally it was called out, at least. So Dayton scored. It's more so Parker is the question mark. So it's going to be close. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't see that ball come out at the end. Saw it on the replay. But what will the umpires rule here? That's a big second out. Titans just need to try to keep this a game.
And they say she's safe.
So that's brutal. 2 runs come across on a ball that did not leave the infield. I don't think Ella Parker read that ball well at the backstop as Alexia Lopez is shaking her head.
And it was hard because Alexia Lopez, right, if you saw her, she was kneeling down. She was expecting that Parker was going to slide, and it was just hesitated on Parker's end.
That is an absolute bomb out to left field. My goodness. Just an absolute crusher from Isabella Emmerling. That ball might have went all the way back to Norman. I do not think you can hit a softball harder or farther than that. It's now 9-3.
Yeah, and that's absolutely brutal. So now it's 10-3 Oklahoma. So technically they score one more run. The run rule will be in effect, but again, Cal State Fullerton, they will get their last up. So this is kind of where you want to breathe a little bit. If you're Cal State Fullerton, find a way to get quickly back in the dugout.
That's the second home run of this game, and the Sooners are showing off the muscle here against the Titans. It's now a 10-3 Oklahoma lead. And you knew their power would come this season. Last game for them, it was McEnroe Marinas who hit her first home run as a Sooner against Cal Baptist, and they are just teeing off against the Titans here in the 6th. And again, it's just been 2 innings. They've scored all the runs in the 4th and the 6th. Tia Malloy will watch one outside. I don't think that ball has still landed. That ball was hit far, lining far.
I'm just happy that my car wasn't parked over there.
That might be one of the longest home runs I have seen in my limited time here, but that ball was headed towards the shed, which is a good 300 feet away, at least a good 275, 280 feet away. Tia Malloy will watch a strike. For Isabella Emmerling, that is her second home run on the season. Now it's top of the team lead as Malloy will foul off another. Oklahoma responded to the Titans scoring 3 in the bottom half of the 5th. Natalie Lozano got him on the board with a 3-run shot. And Ashley Dennis will strike out Tia Malloy, second out of the 6th.
Now, if you're Dendas, right, you give up a 3-run bomb to Emmerling, you come back strong, you shut down Malloy, striking out, looking rather. You'll take it. Again, short-term memory. I mean, people always say, right, if you're a pitcher, have a mind of a goldfish. That's what you want, right? Mind of a goldfish, kind of relax a little bit. Again, you know, I mean, anything can happen in this sport of softball, but it's the little things like that, partner, that Gina Oaks Garcia is going to really look at when it comes to just finding that true pitching rotation moving forward.
I mentioned this is the 3rd pitcher for the Titans today. Leanna Garcia showed us what she can do in game 1. So far, the Titans pitching staff not so good here in game 2. They did get a pretty solid start from Trisha McCleskey. She went 3 1/3 scoreless until the Sooners started getting into the Titans in the 4th. But again, it's just a lot of unforced errors for the Titans today that forced the Sooners to get some base runners. You look back at the fourth, that inning began with a leadoff walk and then a hit by pitch. Malloy reached on an error, RBI single from Sanders, and in the grand slam from Garcia. And so far here in the sixth, it's been a little bit of the same. A hit by pitch, a single, another hit by pitch, loaded them up. As a grounder will eat up Sarah Perez and roll into center field, and we'll see what that one is ruled. Sanders reaches with 2 outs.
Yeah, that one's a close one, right? It was hit hard over there by Sanders at short. And you know what? They're going to give an error to Perez on that one.
And error number 5 now for the Titans, and, or excuse me, error number 6 in today's doubleheader. Surely I'm not something this coaching staff is going to be too happy about once they get home tonight. But when you lose a Gold Glover at third like a Peyton Toto, you lose a great outfielder like Megan Delgadillo, you expect the defense to be great, but certainly has not been good today. Ball and no strikes on Gabby Garcia.
You know, Garcia, just knowing her and athletic ability, right? I know she's a freshman, but again, you know, she wants to prove she wants to be that starting 9. But I'd be shocked if she gets another home run here today.
Both their home runs have been pretty much no doubters. Garcia to right center, and then Emmerling down the left field line. Oklahoma will stay on the West Coast as they will travel to LA to take on Loyola Marymount tomorrow. That's the scheduled 5 p.m. start. That game will also be on ESPN Plus, and then they will take on Long Beach on Sunday in Long Beach. Second time today that the Sooners have hit around as Abigail Dayton gets her 5th at-bat of the day. She's 0 for 1 with 3 hit by pitches and a run scored. Pretty good day at the office.
And if you're Oklahoma, you love innings like these, right? It's good for the stat sheet. And I know when it comes to this program, right, there's a saying, you know, you don't want to be an I guy, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a team effort. And that's what you're seeing from Oklahoma, right? They're not trying to do too much. They're all collectively as a team trying to do all they can. And it's been showing today. Again, when you have an opportunity, not once, but twice, to get through the entirety of a lineup in an inning, kind of shows the team that you're made up of. And we showed it earlier, right? We said, like, you know, they've been run-rolling some teams here and then early on, but we're still waiting for them to be that dominant team that we've been waiting for. And so far, we've been seeing it from the Sooners here today.
The transfers have sure been a big part of this Sooners lineup this year. The former Pac-12 leading hitter will line one into center field, but Kate Verhoff is there, and that will stop the bleeding for the Titans in the 6th. But 5 more come across for the Sooners. It's now a 10-4 game as we'll be back at bottom half of the 6th. It's a 10-3 Oklahoma lead. Colby McClinton will lead off the Titans half. 3-4-5. The Bats will try and keep this game alive. Bottom half of the 6th. Getting into the home half of the nightcap today as Sam Landry, who's been untouchable since she's been in. Titans will have to try and figure her out.
You know, it's been rough, and the reason why I said we set it off here, right, Cameron? It's tempo. You gotta have a quick tempo going, and unfortunately, you know, I mean, you look back at the 4th and the 6th inning alone for Oklahoma. You bat through the entirety of the lineup. You just take so much time away from just trying to get going, speed the tempo up, and you know that's your job as a pitcher. Get the tempo right quick. You want to be quick when it comes to your delivery. I know there's a pitch clock now, and in softball, but at the end of the day, it's the obvious, right? Get back in the dugout as fast as possible, and it's been a lot of lengthy innings on the defensive end for Cal State Fullerton. So when they go back to the dugout, they're a little bit sluggish, and it just takes them a long time to get going. So again, that's just really certainly been hurting Cal State Fullerton here tonight.
I think I said it earlier in the broadcast, but that's why Oklahoma is so good, is not only do they physically wear you down, but they mentally wear you down too, as Colby McClinton will leg out a midfield single, but it's 10 runs on 5 hits. So it's not like they're physically wearing you down. It's the mental stuff. It's these at-bats, the hit-by pitches, the 5 hit-by pitches. That's just got to make you so frustrated, as a Titan.
And no, you're absolutely right. You take away Garcia, and you also take the other 3-run bomb from Emmerling. That's been the offense. We knew that Oklahoma is a home run hitting team. If you knew anything about college softball, you're well aware of Oklahoma and their power. And, for the most part, Cal State Fullerton has done a terrific job. But you said it, right? The hit by pitches, 5 to be precise. And then you talk about the walks that the pitching staff has given up. They have given up 6 walks. So if you do the math correctly, which I think I am, 11 free passes. And you take a look at the score, 10 runs. So that kind of paints the picture for the Titans here today.
And RC will pop out to Garcia at shortstop. 1 out in the 6th. So you have to play pretty much perfect softball to have a chance versus Oklahoma, and the Titans just have not done it today. Alexia Lopez singled her last at-bat. She started that 3-run 5th for the Titans. And it was in what was once a 5-3 ball game. And it's just 2 innings. Those are the 4th and the 6th. Those are the only runs that Oklahoma has scored in. As Lopez will get under one and fly it into right field. Can of corn for Pickering. Lulu Sanchez, the DP, with 2 outs in the 6th. Sam Landry last year in the circle, a 3-time Sun Belt Pitcher of the Week. Not only was just good, but she was great against tough opponents too. Top 75 RPI opponents. She picked up 12 wins. Clinton will lead off first. Lulu Sanchez at the plate. Bounces it in the dirt. McClinton will stay put. As Lulu reaches, Sofia Guevara is on deck. Lulu will cut on and miss and strike out against Sam Landry. So that will end the Titans half of the 6th inning as we will head to the 7th, the final rally time. of the 7th inning, final inning here at Anderson Family Field in Fullerton, California. It's been an action-packed day full of softball. Nonetheless, just the start of the weekend. Titans will play 2 tomorrow and 1 on Sunday. And it feels good to say it, Robbie, but softball's finally back.
About time, right? I mean, I've been waiting. There's a big circle in my calendar. I've been waiting for this moment, and it's finally here. And you know, at the end of the day, regardless what happens today, whether you're an Oklahoma fan or whether you're a Cal State Fullerton fan, you're happy softball is back, better than ever. There's so much to look forward to on either side here tonight. And, you know, I guarantee you a few months from now, both of these two teams are going to be better the way that they're already playing tonight. But again, at the end of the day, you know, take the small wins. That's been the start today, right, partner? So with that, you're happy softball's back, and, you know, we're excited to see what both sides do in their respectable conferences.
Yeah, watched some softball on ESPN Plus last night. Watched Arizona State and Michigan State. Arizona State, a top 20 team in the country this year. They sure put it on Michigan State, who kept it competitive for a while. But nonetheless, that's what you gotta love about ESPN Plus, is they carry pretty much every school you could think of. So anytime you ever want to watch some softball, ESPN Plus is the place to do it.
No, it's been nice. We have a lot of, you know, parents, of course. There's a lot of family members watching, especially internationally, right? You know, sometimes you'll get that softball, but more so like basketball, right? Possibly soccer. You'll see a lot of international individuals that will watch. So to be able now with ESPN Plus and the deal, that's more specifically, right, with the Big West Conference, it's been huge for a lot of friends to now to get great content to watch your favorite student athletes.
And then Parker will bloop in the left center field, and that'll drop for a hit. Parker's thinking 2 out of the box, and she'll have it. Didn't get to the fence. Romulo didn't take a great route in left, and that allowed Parker to move over to second, and now she's 2 for 5 on the day.
No, you said it, partner. It's all about that cut. Romulo Moore went straight to it instead of kind of rounding the softball a little bit. But you got to give credit where credit's due to Parker, right? She turned first. She wasn't even hesitating at all. Just no hesitation. Goes around the horn, covers the first base bag with the right foot. Goes all the way there to slide in safely there at second. Can lead off double here in the top of the 7th inning.
Parker came into this game, remember, just hitting .727 to start. 0 for 3 in our first 3 at-bats, 2 for 2 in our final 2. As there'll be a pinch runner on for Oklahoma at second base. Actually, no, that is Ella Parker still there. Cassidy Pickering does not have a hit today against Ashley Dendis. Got her to fly out in the 6th. Every Sooner has reached base safely at least once today. As Pickering will ground one to the right, Guevara handles it, has to take 2 steps to her left to touch the bag as Parker moves to third.
You know, from a hitting perspective, if you're Pickering, I say you win the battle there. Why? You did your job. You moved the runner over. Now just a couple of feet away. If you're McEnroe Arenas, you put the ball in play, and with the speed of Parker, wouldn't be surprised if ball hit in the infield, she's going to take a risk and come home. But I believe instead we're actually going to have someone else hit. I believe that's going to be Corey Hicks, the 5'9" freshman from San Jose, California. We'll take a big hack here for the Sooners in the top 7.
7 homers, 25 RBIs as a senior in high school for Corey Hicks. Last year attended Archbishop Mitty High School. 2024 West Catholic Athletic League Player of the Year. He's been a 3-time All-League selection. Another Sooner bat that the SEC can fear throughout the conference as years to come. Mostly plays catcher. Her sister plays at Fresno State. Sister's a Bulldog, herself a Sooner. San Jose native. Mentioned 7 homers as a senior, hit 13 as a sophomore and 6 as a junior. And she just crushed the North area. And just misses away. Count will run full on Hicks. And that'll walk her. So put them at the corners for the Sooners in the 7th. Sydney Barker pinch hit in this spot last time. We'll see if she remains in the game here. Looks like it will indeed be Sydney Barker. Barker will pinch hit, 1 out in the 7th.
Only change, it's going to be Maya Bland, the 5'7" sophomore. She'll now be pinch running for Hicks over there at first.
Barker is someone that Patty Gasso really wanted to get to Oklahoma. Called her at midnight once recruiting hour opened. And once Barker came to visit Oklahoma, never looked back. As Patty Gasso threw everything at her, even had the great Tiari Jennings and Hannah Core, who we haven't seen today, who's a part of the team, and Jordy Ball were all there to help recruit Sydney Barker to Oklahoma. As that ball was crushed down the left field line, if it's fair, it's gone. It is. Sydney Barker, a 3-run shot, her first collegiate home run. It's the 4th home run of the day for the Sooners as they continue to pour it on. As it's now 13-3 Oklahoma.
It's these freshmen that are stepping up. Garcia, now you have Sydney Barker that's doing some damage. It's been an unbelievable effort. You can't forget about Emmerling, the redshirt junior. But again, these freshmen, what they're bringing to the table, they're most certainly not playing at all like a rookie, truly playing like a true veteran here tonight.
That was an absolute, again, another just laser beam off the bat for someone who hit 400 her senior year, 4-time every single year in high school, was named first team All-League. And Sydney Barker showing Patty Gasso what she can do. Home runs today from Garcia, Emmerling, Barker. A big cut and a miss by Emmerling at the plate. Excuse me, that is the 3rd home run as a team today. The grand slam in the 4th, the 3-run shot in the 6th, and now another 3-run home run here in the 7th.
And you know, if your Dendas right, continue to just bear down, pose and composure. Of course, hasn't been her strongest effort. 4 hits, 8 earned runs, 2 walks and a strikeout. Make that 2 strikeouts now for her tonight.
Strikes out Emmerling looking at the second strikeout. Or excuse me, that is the third out today, so it's just a 1-for-4 day at the plate for Emmerling, but she's been busy behind home as well. And with the bat, mentioned her 3-run homer in the 6th, also got hit and scored in the 4th. Looks like another pinch hitter coming on for the Sooners here, as there will be a meeting in the circle, as this will be Katie Lee McKay getting an at-bat for Oklahoma. Katie Lee McKay, the freshman from Caddo, Oklahoma. She played at Caddo Public High School. A 2-time Oklahoma Prep Nation TV Player of the Year. 2-time conference MVP and a 3-time all-conference selection. Hit a whopping .444 as a senior, homered 3 times, drove in 29 runs on her way to 3 straight state championships in high school. And she hits a rocket through the left side, backhanded by Perez, the throw to first. And Sarah Perez flashing the leather on one knee with a great backhanded stab will throw out Lee McKay. And that will end the 7th, but 3 more come across for the Sooners. 13-3 coming after the last half of the 7th. On the 2025 season, as it'll be the bottom 3 in the lineup for the Titans. Guevara, Lozano, and Verhoff. Sam Landry so far has been pretty much untouchable since she's came in. Just allowed a single to McClinton that stayed in the infield. Also has a punch out today. Guevara today 1 for 2 with a double and a run scored. She almost took Audrey Lowry deep in her last at-bat, hit it off the tippity top of the fence out in left center field. We'll see if the Titans can start to claw back. Guevara started to rally as it's the second strikeout of the day for Landry.
You know, if you're Gina Oaks Garcia, and I'm sure the student athletes are aware too. I know it's not going your way, but you know, you really want to look at these student athletes and say, hey, who's going to be that student athlete that we know is going to step up no matter what the score is going to be? Who's going to try to set the tone, not give up a fight? And again, that's something that Titans are going to be looking for the last few remaining outs in this one.
Someone that has stepped up today, Robbie, Natalie Lozano. A 3-run bomb in her second collegiate at-bat. One of those squibbed right back to Landry. Had some funky, nasty spin on it, but Landry calm, cool, and collected for the second out of the 7th.
She just made it look easy, and what I always like to say, right? Pitchers are athletes. I think she certainly proved it in the circle, and now it seems like we got another new hitter for Cal State Fullerton.
Looks like that is Sarah Cosillos. True freshman out of Oxnard, her first collegiate at-bat. Cosillos will try and keep this game alive. Bottom half of the 7th, 13-3. Sooners up top. Garcia's played at Rio Mesa High School in Oxnard.
Could you get down? I'm so sorry. Thank you.
Played a total of 57 varsity games throughout her high school career. Picked up 72 hits, was a career .377 hitter. Even in the count now, a ball and a strike. Played pretty much every sport you could think of growing up. A four-sport athlete, volleyball, basketball, as well as soccer, which included softball. Cosios with 2 on in the 7th, cuts and misses, and that will do it for the Titans in the 7th. 3 up and 3 down. Sam Landry has punched out 3 as the Oklahoma Sooners on 13 runs, just on 7 hits. Robbie, they used the long ball today.
They certainly did, and that's what you expect, right? Again, the power from this Oklahoma team is no joke, and we got to see it here tonight. I mean, they proved it. If you leave a cookie right down the heart of the plate, I guarantee you that baseball, or rather softball, is going to go flying out of the ballpark. But, you know, if you're Cal State Fullerton, keep your head up high. I mean, you'll split 1-1. You'll be satisfied with that. It's still early on in the season. There's still so much work to be done. This pitching staff knows they really got to work on the free passes. 5 hit batters, 6 walks today. I mean, that is something that can't happen, right? The pitching staff knows that, and you know that, again, another 3 errors.